Okay, we'll get this going. I'm going to call the Thursday, July 6, 2023 Planning Commission meeting to order. Before we do the Pledge of Allegiance, I'd like to introduce everybody to our newest Planning Commissioner, Commissioner David Saline, recently appointed to the Commission, and we're very excited to have you, so welcome.
Thank you very much. Appreciate it.
Yeah, absolutely. Okay, we're going to stand and do the Pledge of Allegiance. Commissioner Harris, will you please lead us in the Pledge of Allegiance?
Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
All right, staff, roll call, please.
All commissioners are present this evening.
Great. All right, item number 4, so this is going to be the election of officers. This is the time for the annual election of the chair, the vice chair, and the secretary. Nominations do not require a second, and a majority vote is required to elect. We will now go ahead and elect the officers. If anybody has a nomination, they are welcome to state it now. Commissioner Lowry.
Since our current chairman had a truncated chairmanship, I'm going to make a motion that Chairman Elmore serves another year on our commission as our fearless leader here, and Mark Rosine as vice chair, and Tristan Harris as secretary.
Any other nominations for an officer? No? Okay, seeing none there. If there's no further, we don't need a second. Staff, should we proceed with a roll call vote?
Yes, I will now take a roll call. Please say aye or nay when I call your name. Commissioner Langford?
Aye.
Commissioner Lowry?
Aye.
Commissioner Elmore?
Aye.
Commissioner Harris?
Aye.
Commissioner Saline?
Aye.
Commissioner Rosine?
Aye.
Commissioner Bartow?
Aye.
Congratulations. We have now Chair Elmore, Vice Chair Rosine, and Secretary Harris.
All right. Well, you guys, thank you all very much. Appreciate the support. Congratulations, both Commissioner Rosine, and thank you for your support. And congrats, Commissioner Harris, on being a secretary. All right. Okay. Moving on to this will be the public comment. This is the time we take public comments on items that are not on the agenda, that are generally within the purview of the Planning Commission. If you wish to speak, please keep your comments to 3 minutes or less. Any non-agenda item? Okay, seeing none, we'll move on. Staff request for continuances?
Chair Elmore, there are no requests for continuances.
Okay. Consent items, moving on. Consent items, item number 2, the meeting minutes of June 22nd, 2023. Do we have a motion and or a second? Commissioner Harris.
Motion to adopt with Mr. Moser's edits.
Okay. Do we have a second?
Well, second.
Commissioner Rosine, Vice Chair Rosine. All right, let's call for a vote.
The motion carries 6-0 with Commissioner Saline abstaining.
Great, moving on. We're going to move on to public hearing items. This is item number 3. This is Bandera's Restaurant. PA 2023-0063, site location at 3201 East Coast Highway. Staff, I believe, sir, you can go ahead and have a quick seat. I believe staff has a presentation, and then I'll bring you up with the public hearing.
Certainly, Chair Elmore and the commissioners, this item is for Bandera's Restaurant. We have a consulting staff planner will give the presentation. Kelly Roboffo will handle that for us. Take it away.
Good evening, Chair and members of the Planning Commission. The item before you this evening is a request for a conditional use permit and a coastal development permit for Bandera Restaurant. Property is located at 3201 Coast Highway at the intersection of Coast Highway and Marguerite Avenue. Property has 23 on-site parking spaces, is located next to 2 municipal parking lots with a total of 53 parking spaces, and is generally located in an area with commercial along the Coast Highway corridor, and a surrounding mix of residential uses. This is a picture of the restaurant site from East Coast Highway. So the project applicant is requesting a CUP to amend hours of operation to allow lunch service for the restaurant. Currently, it has hours from 4 p.m. to midnight daily, and they would like to do 11 a.m. to midnight daily. They're also requesting to update the seating arrangement with no increase in the existing net public service area. And the project also includes a coastal development permit. The original application approving this project, use permit 3564, included a coastal development permit which specified hours of operation, and the Coastal Commission had conditioned that any change in operational hours would require an amended coastal development permit. For this application, because there is no change to the physical construction of the building, the Coastal Commission has deferred to the city to process a kind of concurrent CDP just for hours of operation. This is the existing and proposed floor plan. You can see that the overall service area is not changing, nor is the number of seats. It's just the composition of seats between, booths, tables, and bar seating. This is a summary of the operational characteristics of the site. As you can see, nothing else is being proposed to be changed about the proposed operation except the hours of operation. The original granting use permit allowed for a 24-space parking lot for the restaurant. That number of spaces was reduced to the existing 23 parking spaces during plan check due to ADA considerations for parking space layout. Staff did observe the parking in the adjacent municipal lots 2 days during weekday lunch hours and noticed that there was ample available parking next to the restaurant. There is also available on-street parking and on-site parking as well. The proposed application will not be changing anything about required or supplied parking because there is no change in the size of the restaurant proposed. Staff is recommending approval of the proposed projects consistent with the findings in the staff report as summarized on this slide, including consistency with the existing general plan and zoning designation. As mentioned, staff is recommending that the Planning Commission conduct a public hearing, find the project exempt from CEQA as Class 1 existing licensing of an existing restaurant facility, and then approve the CUP and the CDP as requested per findings in the resolution. Staff is available for any questions you might have. Also, the applicant's representative, Darren Loriano from Southern California Land Use, has a brief presentation for you.
Right.
Thank you.
Thank you very much. Great presentation. Commissioners, any questions of staff as it pertains to this item? No? 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 Okay, seeing none. Commissioners, any ex parte communications? I'll start with Commissioner Bartow and go down the line.
None.
None?
None.
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 Okay, great. And this time I'll go ahead and open up the public hearing. Sir, why don't you come on up? I believe you have a presentation.
Good evening, Commissioners. Nice to have such a full commission, by the way. My name is Darren Loriano, owner and founder of Southern California Land Use, representing both the owner and the architect. The architect is here this evening if there's any direct questions for them. The longstanding restaurant serving the community since 1995 with an outstanding record of service without incident or reported infraction of existing CUP conditions, including parking. It's been a wonderful business for the community. It's been here a very long time, and they're hoping to be here a lot longer. Requesting a minor adjustment in hours only to accommodate lunch guests and no exterior changes. The request has a revised table layout only, as staff mentioned. The police department has no concerns, and it is supportive of the application, determining no significant change to community as midday alcohol-related crime is minimal, and the business has been serving alcohol at night daily since 1995 without incident. Planning staff conducted multiple site inspections, as they mentioned, determined there will be no vehicular impact to the area or community for the minor request. Rideshare and other modern habits have augmented traditional driving habits to support the request. I received recently, just today, the 22 clarifications, I think, from the community. And we appreciate the commissioner's support, and we're here for any questions. Happy to help. And as I said, the architect's here also if there's any direct questions.
Great, thank you. While I have you there, do you agree with the recommended conditions of approval?
We do. Yes.
You do, great. Commissioners, do you have any questions of the applicant while we have them up here? Down the line? No? Seeing none? Okay, thank you, sir. All right, at this time, I'll go ahead and open up the public hearing to the audience. Does anybody from the audience wish to comment on this item?
Chair Elmore, members of the commission, my name is Jim Mosier. And as they often are, my comments, I think, would be seen as more technical than substantive. But the resolution says that, and the presentation said it's both for a conditional use permit and a coastal development permit. Those are usually two distinct things. And when the commission approves a application involving both of those, usually the section of the resolution about the action will identify those separately, saying that you're approving a use permit which is identified with a certain number and a coastal development permit identified with a certain number. This time it doesn't seem to associate numbers with them, which is a little confusing. Also, you're being asked to modify a coastal development permit without actually seeing a copy of what was approved back in 1995 by the Coastal Commission. There's an odd chance that they may have had some problem with the 4 o'clock starting time and wanted that rather than a noon starting time or 11 a.m. starting time. I doubt it. It looks like from the transcript of the old Planning Commission meeting that the applicant simply asked for 4 p.m. starting time. Probably the Coastal Commission would have been okay with that. Don't know. It was on their consent calendar. There was no discussion. But there would have been a staff report explaining their findings back then. So it's a little odd that you're not seeing that. And also, as we heard, it's requiring a modification to that permit, which usually would be the Coastal Commission's jurisdiction to modify a permit that they have issued. Yet we heard somehow there's going to be a concurrent CDP. It's not actually mentioned again in the action, nor is any appeal opportunity for that or any mention of Title 21 in the resolution. So it seems to be treated a little bit casually. And then the other, even more technical comment is whether the proposed ending time should be 12 a.m. or some other thing like midnight. I would point out the original Planning Commission resolution said the hours were from 4 p.m. until 12 midnight. And it's confusing whether 12 a.m., the new thing, means midnight or noon. And I would point out when it was before the Planning Commission in 1995 on page 155, future Mayor Todd Ridgway was suggesting at that time that the Planning Commission consider moving to 4 p.m. to 11 a.m., and he referred to the new hours as 11 a.m. to 12 p.m. So people are confused whether a.m. or p.m. is attached to 12 o'clock. Saying midnight is a lot better, and I would recommend that in the resolution. So those are my comments. Thank you.
Thank you. Anybody else from the audience wish to comment on this item? Okay, seeing none, does the applicant have any final words or wish to make any clarifications?
Yeah. Hi, Darren Loriano, Southern California Land Use again. Just a brief explanation about the CDP. We did verify with Coastal Development Permit, California Coastal Commission staff regarding the hours and their concern. Also, the planner assigned to the project actually directly talked to them also. They did not have hours in their original approval. They deferred to the hours of Newport Beach and the conditional use permit, and spoke to the planner, and I believe that they can speak directly to that.
Great, thank you.
Thank you.
I'll bring it back to staff. Any questions or comments for the, or not questions,
Sure.
but comments, clarifications?
Sure, I'll provide a little clarification here. The recommended actions, that Mr. Moser indicated that, we don't have case numbers for each of the individual applications anymore, and so when you see the recommendation, it's just the recommendation. There's a planning activity number, and that includes both components, the use permit amendment and the coastal development permit. In essence, we're not modifying the Coastal Commission's coastal development permit. That is a separate permit that agency controls and holds. What we're doing is issuing a coastal development permit for the expanded hours of operation. So hopefully that'll clarify that. When speaking to the Coastal Commission staff, they weren't concerned about the hours of operation because that was a local restriction that came with the application when they saw it. Had they had a concern about this, then they would have required an amendment to be processed by the Coastal Commission. And we do have correspondence from their staff indicating that they would prefer to have the city take on this additional review. So to me, that's an indication they're not concerned about the hours of operation. So hopefully that provides some clarification on those questions. And again, we recommend approval.
Great. Thank you for those clarifications. This time, I'll go ahead and close the public hearing, and I'll bring it back to this commission for any discussion or motion. I'll start down. How about this side, Commissioner Larry? Secretary? No? Vice Chair? No? See none? All right. Do we have a motion?
This seems pretty clear, so I'll go ahead and make the motion to approve PA 2021-0063. Approve as recommended.
I'll make a second.
Great. Let's call for a vote.
The motion carries unanimously.
All right. Congratulations to the applicant. Moving on. Item number 4, this is motion for reconsideration. Are there any other motions for reconsideration? Okay, seeing none. Moving on. Item number 5, a report by the Community Development Director or a request for matters which a planning commissioner would like to place on a future agenda item.
Certainly, I'll go ahead and give the report. Chair, I'm one of the commissioners. Want to indicate a couple items that are coming forward on your this summer. Our next meeting is July 20th. You do have a written document here indicating what's there, but there's actually been an update to that. There's really only going to be 2 items on that agenda. Item number 1, the housing element implementation, noise-related amendments, and then the third item on your list, which is the municipal code review procedure to sunset some provisions. So the item on that's the House annual review will go to the next meeting. We had an issue with the noticing, so we can't go forward with that one. So we just have the 2 items on July 20th. So then the subsequent meeting to the commission will be the following meeting is July 3rd. There'll be 4 items.
August 3rd.
August 3rd, I apologize. There will be 3 items on that agenda. You see 2 of them here, but then the House annual review will be moved to August 3rd. The other item I wanted to mention, you'll see it highlighted on your version of the schedule here, and that's the forward aeroneutronic soil vapor remediation that the commission saw at their prior meeting. That was appealed, and we're scheduling that for city council review on July the 25th. And that's what I have for you.
Great. Thank you for your report. Commissioners, item number 6, any requests for excused absences? Well, real quick, does anybody from the audience wish to comment on community director's report? Okay, seeing none. Item number 6, request for excused absences. Commissioners? Commissioner Rosine?
Yeah, I'd like to request the 20th, please.
Okay.
And August 17th for me.
August 17th. Anybody else? That's it. All right. Seeing none, this meeting is adjourned. Congratulations, new commissioners and everybody that's been elected. 619 is actually maybe a record.